Okay, so everyone is back, and yeah, okay. We're good to go. Okay, now we are good to go again. So let's just say, welcome back. Welcome back to the Bernard channel today. And as always, when we finish a game, and if it is a history game or anything, I'm gonna be back in the next day for explaining the detail about that game. And yesterday, you may already notice we play Medal of Honor Airborne, and we have played it against a lot of special infantry. So today I'm here to explain what's going on, and is that the special infantry that we met in the game yesterday is the real or not? Well, for to my surprise, that I just changed and decide to go to the search and try to search the thing about the special infantry on the major power in World War II. Yes, that is a thing that exists and the thing that doesn't exist in the game. So surely today I'm gonna cover all the, well, not all, but the most important and most famous unit in the World War II, and this is this will cover not only the Allied force, also cover the Axis force. Okay, example like the German and Japanese. But problem is some document is also lost. Example like a document about German elite unit or special unit. It is quite lost. In some record, it is not exist even in the Wikipedia or any source I can find. Not not exist because well it is erased, or probably the history has erased that thing already. Well, and even more, some sort is classified or it is still not being published yet. So today I'm here to try to publish the detail that was hidden from our eye for quite a long time. Yep. Although this is a second-hand evidence, but I'll try my best to explain what is going on and the theory about that. But surely one thing I'm sure to do is, well, after the COVID, if you guys support me, sure I'm gonna head right to the place where the detail is. Example like the detail of the Japan Imperial Japan military. It is we can barely find the evidence in the internet, but I know the place where we can find the evidence. Example like the evidence of the Japanese fleet in World War II. I know the museum. It is in Japan, but well, I doesn't have wind to visit that yet. So if you guys support me, I can head straight there and gather more detail about that too. I love gathering the detail, especially when it comes to the history. Yes, I love history. So sure, right now we will talk about what it is, what unit it is, and what kind of thing, and what is their service, and what is their purpose. Okay, here, welcome to the History Explained about from the episode of Medal of Honor Airborne yesterday, and we will gonna cover today the elite unit of World War II. Okay, let's just head in. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, well, in this episode, well, as we always aware that in war, to win a fight, you must think outside the box. Well, simply using your troop, heading in and shooting everything that move, well, that's not gonna be decisive. Yes. So sometimes you might have to think about outside the box, how to win the war, and also this come to the mind of the general or staff in the World War II. They try to develop a lot of things about the unconventional warfare. So yes, okay. So in World War II, everyone start to think about how to break through the enemy line. Well, if the enemy line break through, well, it means that you can end the war faster, and that means the enemy is losing. So sure, everyone start thinking about that. So that come in mind about the unconventional warfare. Okay, not simply hit right into the enemy gun and fight, but maybe a little tactic, go around, fight from the back, or even causing terror against the enemy. Okay, so but in about the thing that you need to think outside the box. In World War II, many of the nations think in a different idea. Okay, in some case, they think the area of going behind and hit them from the rear. Yeah, that seems very logic, right? When someone very strong stand against you, well, the good way is to go around and hit them from the rear. Most likely, no one is perfect, and if they set up the guard right in front of you, their back is exposed. So if it hit from the rear, you're gonna hurt. So surely this is a tactic that someone start thinking about it. Okay. Okay. So yes, and some also think that well, in order to break through the enemy line, they require some well-equipped troop and a well-trained, very well-trained troop to break through the enemy line right in front of their line. Why? Well, as I say, sometimes think outside the box is good, but problem is when you think about that and use it more and more, enemies start to beware of their back and let their guard down a little bit. And also, if someone guard you, set up the guard in front of you, but still you can penetrate that guard. Yeah, that's a very scary, right? When you set up a barrier or barricade in front of you, but suddenly something break through your barricade while you are sitting behind it. Well, that's a very shock, very shock and very fearful. So this is some nations start to think about this and start to well equip troop and very suitable for assault and start to hit them with shock and terror. So this gonna be a breakthrough, right? Not only breakthrough on their fighting capability, also breakthrough in their mind. So this is one doctrine of thinking, and some country and some nation or some power in World War II also see themselves that they are situated in the situation unlike before. Well, basically the war is fight on land. Yes, most of the time it fight on land and land to land battle. But in World War II, many of the things happen. Example like the transportation across the sea, transportation across the air, and in particular area, it is filled with island. So surely they have to develop something to deal with this island. Well, using your normal troops to go island to island, well, it is quite a long operation, right? Especially when you have to embark infantry troop that along with the armor, right, to one island. You may need a port. And what if that island has been occupied by the enemy? The port mean it occupied by enemy too. So that's not gonna be easy, right? To assault that port. So they have to think about how to fight on the island effectively. Okay, so this is the idea of the special unit and elite unit. Now let's come to the elite of each nation. Next, the first thing first, well, according to what we played yesterday, we are seeing about the USA. The USA famous unit in the World War II. Well, basically in World War II, well, right now, nowadays, there's a lot of interesting and famous units in nowadays, but in World War II, thing, well, doesn't been so popular, and most of the people still think about the conventional warfare, not much of the unconventional warfare. Okay, so now I'm cover the three famous. Okay, for USA, I see that there is three famous units. For USA, it is airborne, marine, and ranger. Well, I'm gonna go to the detail here. Okay, especially the airborne. The airborne we have played yesterday, right? Well, it is the real thing. Yes, the airborne guy is real. Okay, the U.S. airborne. Well, this is the doctrine of unconventional warfare, and see various used in the history of World War II. Well, almost two famous campaign that mainly use the airborne infantry. Okay, the purpose and service of the U.S. airborne. The U.S. airborne is, well, has been copy. Let's just say copy from the model of the British airborne. Well, the idea is came from how to break through the enemy line, and one solution is try to send the troop behind enemy line. And when you can send the troop behind enemy line, you can do whatever you want because the enemy doesn't aware of that. And so the airborne has begun. So one solution is try to send the infantry by plane and land behind the enemy line. Then use the the infantry that come with that plane to attack any important place behind the enemy line, such as the fuel supply, the road, or the communication line, something like that. And if they can, they will be support. They will be support the main invasion. Like the main invasion hit the front, these group gonna assemble and hit the back in the same time. The enemy have nowhere to run and gonna panic very soon because they were hit from both sides. So this is the idea of the airborne infantry. But thing is, the first person who developed the airborne tactic is not the British. Well, British developed airborne and see some success. But the first person who do that, well, it is Germany. We're gonna go to the section of Fallschirmjäger, well, later on. But now we're gonna talk about the U.S. airborne first. Okay, well, they see the success in 1941, and then the U.S. start to create their own airborne. Okay, out of the two regiments, the the two regiments that's gonna be famous later in the day. Well, so they have using two infantry regiment to change it to the airborne. The most famous one is 101, 101, 101st, or the nickname of Screaming Eagle. The Screaming Eagle 101. Well, this unit is, let's just say, they will appear in most media or most video game when they come about the paratrooper. Yeah, and I am very right about this. Well, especially if you interest in this, you can use the search engine like Google and search the word Band of Brother. Well, this is a series I love to watch the most. It is all about the 101. It is about the 101st Screaming Eagle and their campaign throughout the World War II since D-Day. Yep, and when we talk about the 101, then the unit that you cannot skip as well is the Airborne Regiment of 82nd Infantry Airborne. This is the unit that cooperate very well and very famous alongside with 101. Although their success, it doesn't been so, it doesn't much compare to 101, but yeah, most of the time they combine together. Okay, and their service is since D-Day, and in D-Day, these groups are dropping behind the Atlantic Wall or the Normandy beaches and the Utah beaches. Yes, they're just using the airborne to drop the night before the landing invasion begin. Well, why? The target is to disable the communication and destroy the road to prevent the counterattack when the main assault began. They just try to prevent the counterattack. So this is the objective on the D-Day. And the thing that make them the 101 and 82nd become very popular in D-Day is, well, they are not only do their objective, even they scatter drop everywhere, and well, some unit is lost and some unit just mess up. 101 have to mix up with another airborne division like 82nd, mix up and cannot find their drop zone. Anyway, they did their objective, decisively, and moreover, they can even more disable and destroy the enemy artillery that support the landing invasion. That well, it is that in that artillery that bombed the beach. So 101 and 82nd form up and destroy that artillery in time. So that the reason one of the reason the landing is success because this group as well. Okay. Well, so after that they were quite popular. These airborne guys is very popular after the D-Day. But again, their population their popularity doesn't last so long. When the next operation that was planned by General Montgomery of the British Army, the Operation Market Garden. Well, yeah, let's just say these guys also operate in Market Garden as well and drop behind enemy line again and take over the town. Even in the serious defense of the area in Nijmegen that we just see in the yesterday game that we have to drop right into the town of Nijmegen and try to capture the bridge. Well, that is the although the gameplay is not the correct one, but the real history is they did capture the Nijmegen and capture the bridge intact. But problem is not this operation is not a success. It is instead a failure. Well, the American paratrooper did their job, but the problem is the last bridge, the Arnhem, the town of Arnhem. Well, it it cannot be captured, and it is show the loss of British paratrooper as well. Well, the British paratrooper we're gonna come back to it in the next nation. And after that, they also show the bravery again in the Battle of Bulge. Okay, Ardennes, all we know as Ardennes Offensive. Well, when the Germans just throw their last attempt when the snow is hard on December 1944. The Germans throw everything at the Allied line that unprepared. But what again? These 101 just take all the credit. now now in the real history is Patton take all the credit for rescuing them, but let's just give the credit to 101 because in the Battle of Bulge, in the town of Bastogne, these 101 Screaming Eagle just hold the line. Even the German just pass through them, but they still hold the crossroads of Bastogne, and they just hold the line like that until General Patton come to rescue them. Very tough guy. Even they were cut off from the line, they still held. Very tough. But that guy is very tough, like. So, and after that, there is one more operation, although it is not the not the popular one for the airborne, the Operation Plunder. This time they have to get inside the paradox inside the enemy line, and the signature of this operation is the big fortress called Flag Term. Yeah, you may wonder, is that thing the Flag Term is real? Is it? If that's real, it must be very huge. Well, guess not, guys. The real thing is real. That fortress is real, although right now it was demolished and destroyed already. But the thing is, the photograph also shown that this flag term is real. And surely this is a problem. And the most iconic thing is the paratrooper also dropped on it as well to take the flag term. But the fact is they doesn't just drop right in it. They just drop around the town and try to proceed in the town to take the flag term. Yeah, that's the Operation Plunder. Also, they suffer some loss, but it is the end of the war, and the German doesn't have much to resist them. So this operation is not so popular or shining equal to the D-Day or the Battle of Bulge. And about the 101 Screaming Eagle and the 82nd Airborne, these two units still operation until this day. Well, paratroopers still useful until this day. Although the tactic of the paratrooper is changed, Okay, I'm gonna explain it in the another detail about the paratrooper tactic. Okay, okay, so this is the airborne. Now, next is the U.S. Marine. Well, this guy is well, sometime in most of the game or media, they portray the Marine to be the main force of the US Army, but the real thing is they are not. They're just Marine, man. They are not the main force. Well, the land force of the USA also having a they also have. And well, if you talk about the USA force, right now they also have the Washington National Guard or something that is the main force of the US. But well, most of the time media just portray the Marine is the main force of the US Army. But no, Marine is the force of Navy. And please understand this carefully because this is quite different. Okay. Okay, so let's just come to the subject of Marine. So after the attack on Pearl Harbor, well, USA found themselves in the war between islands. Yes, and as I say before, it is very inconvenient to drop the troop, the infantry and the army, and also their equipment on the beach against the fortified beach. Well, that's hard, right? Well, the clear beach, but the enemy just set up MG and anti-tank gun along the beach. Well, if you send someone who doesn't familiar with swimming against that, well, sure it's gonna be failure, especially the heavy equipment like a tank. Well, if you send the tank to cross the bridge, it's gonna take some time and they're gonna be the sitting target for the AT gun. That's a bad thing to happen. And even more, if you drop the tank too far away from the beach, well, the tank gonna sunk. That's a hard thing to do. And so in order to do so, they need a lot of equipment that's suitable for landing on the beach. So that's why the Marine come in. The Marine was trained different from the main army. The main army will train just to fight on the land. But the Marine, one thing is they train to fight on the march or the seaside. When they have to walk and they have to sometimes swim through the sea and onto the beach. That was hard one. So the Marine, most of the time they would train hard and ready to fight more in the beach. So yeah, this is the beginning of Marine. Okay, but some documents say that Marine idea is come since 1935 in the joint military exercise with Japan. The American just see that, well, just predict that if the war breaks out, they need the mobile force. The mobile force that can go in the sea and take the island quickly. That would be better if the war breaks out. And guess not, they guess right. The war broke out and they require some sort of unit that can be so mobile and can move along and can move from island to island. So that comes the Marine. Also, the Marine also have to develop a lot of new tactic like a Amtrak or M tank, yeah, something like that, and also some light tank, the tank that weighs easily to transport across the sea. So that is the job submarine. So after the World War II, Marine is quite popular. It is because of their bravery and their sacrifice through the World War II that they just using more and sacrifice more, and also their tactic is useful. So they were popular. And even nowadays, as I say, the Marine was portrayed to be the main unit of the US Army, but no, it's not. Well, yes, because maybe because the US Army just have the campaign all over the world, and well, the slogan of mobile unit that came through the sea is always welcome, right? Since you have to operate far away from your land. So this is the unit that always be in front, may always be in the camera, and you guys gonna see it as a main US soldier. But make no mistake, the Marine is the part of Navy, not the Army. Okay. So their service, well, yes, the most of the Pacific theater along of the war. Well, alongside the army, yes. Because, well, why I say that? Yep, in most of the time they have to take the island hopping campaign. They have to use the marine, and the marine have to take the island. But once the island was taken, the person who gonna take over is not the marine, it's the army. The army gonna take over the island after the marine capture it, and this is showing very clear when marine start to take the Philippines back. When they start to take the Philippines back, well, they take it, and after that, General MacArthur just moved the infantry to take over the island after, and try and using the army after that to fight the Japanese on land. So he take the credit, but the one who bleeding the most is Marine. Yeah. Okay. So this is why. So this is what Marine do in the Pacific. Yep, they just fight and take over the island, but after that they just give it to the army. Yeah, and the Marine is start to serve since World War II, and nowadays they also still be the Marine. And very interesting, many of the U.S. soldiers decide to go to Marine after they finish basic training. So, looks to be very honorable job, huh? Yeah. So the Marine is, let's just say, someone also call it the image. Yeah. And also nowadays the Marine also develop a lot of new things. Example like the special Marine Special Force. Well, we all sometimes know in the name of SEAL, SEAL, SEAL. This group is the Marine Special Force. So sometimes when you talk about the SEAL, it's not the army. They are not the army. They are the Navy, and they just under the Navy command. Most of their rule is just assimilate from the Navy. So so why why you still call the army? The SEAL and Marine is Navy, please. Okay. And next group is the U.S. Army, the U.S. Army Ranger. Well, this group, well, you may see it in some game, and in the Modern Warfare series, this Ranger is, well, most likely an Army Corps. Yeah, most likely you can call it the Army Corps, and the main and the backbone of the army. Yeah, you might call that. But in World War II, it is the different story. Well, when the Ranger doesn't been so much popular like nowadays, the Ranger just been the light infantry. Okay, so yep. But their history, the Ranger history, well, you can trace back to the American Independent War. When you trace back to that part, you will see that the Ranger has been developed since that. Why? The idea of guerrilla warfare. The Ranger gonna do the light infantry duty. What's that mean? They just come in, hit the enemy, and run. Hit and run tactic. Yes, it is the job of the Ranger. So they call it the Ranger for light infantry. Their gun just serve the longer range than model, normal British gun in the Independent War. So basically, this is a small mobile force that that American always call them Ranger. And in World War II, they were formed in the company, the Ranger company, something like this. But their role still be the same role, the role of light infantry. So in World War II, Ranger just played the role of assault company to simply move in, take the critical target, and hold the line for the reinforcement. That's what they always do. Not the main force to hit directly at the enemy line, but to try hit it fast, something like this. They were developed as a assault role. Okay, their service is quite variety. At the very early stage, the Ranger has joined the North Africa campaign. Well, although it's not very much of the popular for them in North Africa, because well, it's just a little bit of a raiding party, something like that. And also they joined the Diab raid. The Diab raid, that's a very well. It's a disaster for a little British raid, and more disaster is ranger. Some of the ranger join them. Maybe, well, the history record that there is 30 ranger who join this deep raid, and the survivor just have to form have to form in another company. Okay, and what make them very much of the popular and known so much as a ranger is the action in D-Day. In D-Day at Point du Hoc. Well, normally the ranger has scattered and deployed in a lot of sector during the D-Day operation. And sure, in Omaha they have, but not so shine as the Point du Hoc. Well, the steep cliff that they have to climb the ladder uphill in Call of Duty 2, and that's Call of Duty 2, not Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, they have to climb the steep mountain to get to the German line. Yeah, that's a ranger. The ranger do that on decisively. Well, let's just say they are quite experienced when they are on D-Day. Well, most of the guys who survived the North Africa campaign and the upgrade joined the D-Day as a veteran force to guide the new recruit through the beach. So this ranger is valuable asset when it comes to the D-Day invasion. And after that, they just been in a small action across the Western theater. Okay, example like taking a hill or something. Operation Cobra has seen some use of the ranger, but well, it's not so much of the shining of the ranger. Okay, and after the war, this ranger company, yep, they still stand, and they are the the ranger that's still operation until this day. Well, you're gonna see these guys after the Call of Duty 2, but after that you will see him again in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. 75th Ranger Battalion. Okay, right? Yeah, that's the guy from the, well, that's the same company from the World War II. Okay, that's a Ranger, the U.S. Ranger. Okay, now come to the British famous unit in World War II. Well, for the World War II British, let's just say the British army has been locked in stalemate since the start of the war. When Germans start to attack the Belgium, Netherlands, and France and Luxembourg as well, they just have been locked in the warfare, and especially they were very humiliated when they were surrounded and have to evacuate by civilian ship in the Dunkirk. That's a very humiliated for the British, but they still stand. And then for British, you may ask, well, if you have the territory very close to France and very close to Germany, why not take the fight to the Germany? Well, they are not have enough manpower to fight Germany alone, so they have to lock in stalemate between the German and British just to hold their line. The British hold their island, and the German hold the France, hold the France territory. So that's a stalemate. When the Germans try to invade the British island on the Battle of Britain, well, they fail. And British, as they see in the deep raid, they fail. So the British have to think on another side. Okay, one of their plan is to hit from the south through the Italy. Well, Churchill remind that the Italy is the Nazi soft underbelly. That's a very joke. Apply cold water to the wound. Yeah, that's it. Because Italy doesn't do well in World War II. So one thing that the British plan is try to hit through the Italy and piecing through to the Germany liberate France in the process. Yeah, that's a plan of British. But well, once they take the Italy, the German just fortify themselves with another line and another Siegfried line. So it is a stalemate. So well, yeah, because British has is under manpower and not enough to fight the German head on, so they have to rely much on the covert operation. So that's come to the solution of commandos. Commandos and SAS regiment. Well, how different? Commando is the group of a soldier, maybe a small group, will operate in a small group behind enemy line. They just drop behind and causing the problem, try to raise the resistance. That's what they always do. Well, they call themselves SOE. Well, in that time in World War II, British, okay, British doesn't have the MI6 or MI5, but they have the SOE instead. Well, so yeah, that's you can call the commando. And commando here, you can see that they will still be in the regiment. The famous unit for commando is number 4 Army Commandos. So this group is the crack infantry of the British Army. They are very intensive training and even trained with the small arm fire, just pistol against a lot of target. And also in the harsh condition, they also very trained for that. Well, and their training is bearing fruit very much. Well, much enough to cause the very problem to the French occupied territory for Germany. Well, sometimes I believe that in the history they record that the SOE group, or simply called commandos, this group just making a mess on the German every time and almost everywhere in the Western theater. And even Hitler himself just ordered this group to be very dangerous man and has to be exterminated and on sight. He feared this guy very much. they just go in and hit hard and run, and then a little bit of doing the humiliation to German army as well. This guy is really pain in the ass. Okay, and beside of the commandos, there is one and especially the special unit that you might also familiar here. SAS, Special Air Service. SAS is from Special Air Service. So this guy is the special paratrooper. Well, British have paratrooper, yes, and these paratrooper gonna be portrayed as the guys in the uniform of the woodland uniform, woodland camouflage uniform, and this guy gonna be wearing sometimes green beret or the standard English helmet, yeah. Well, this guy is that was a normal paratrooper, but SAS is the special paratrooper. They were tasked in the small group to hit the special and critical place. Okay, example like in Call of Duty, the first Call of Duty, yeah, that SAS group. Okay, they take the Pegasus Bridge. Well, everyone in their group just wear the red beret. That's a signature for the SAS group. And well, this guy also a really hard training paratrooper, and most likely you can call them commando as well. And they did very good on doing it, on taking the job. Well, this guy is very well on that job, and interesting feature of SAS has appeared later on after the war as well. But let's just say after D-Day, the problem has arisen in Operation Market Garden. Well, especially arrived on the sector of SAS. When they paradrop behind enemy line and take the item, they take it and they hold the line. But problem is, the army convoy that's supposed to meet them in time cannot reach them. And moreover, the Germans just realize what's going on and start to counterattack by cut off the surrounding bridge. Only the main bridge just intact, and moreover, the Germans know the position of the paratrooper very well. So they just surround the town and start to hit the SAS who occupy the Arnhem. So they just heavily casualty, and finally they have to surrender, and that's marked the failure of the Operation Market Garden. Now that's a very failure. It's fail on the English, on the British sector as well. Well, let's just say they are the longest place they have to hold on. So the convoy doesn't reach in time. SAS is lost. That's it. But one good news is that SAS regiment that was surrounded and annihilated at the Arnhem, some of them just managed to escape by the help of the America who were on another side of the river. Yeah, that's lucky for them. And SAS has most likely has been discredited so much for that. Well, let's just say the problem there is not for SAS, they did their job, but the problem is much of the plan. Planning is failed from the very start. Okay, well, you can find a reference movie. Okay, search the word of the bridge too far. The bridge too far. Search this word. So search this sentence on the Google, and you can find the old movie called The Bridge Too Far that show the Operation Market Garden for all for the very correct detail. Yeah, very correct enough. Yes. Okay. So yes, in service they are yeah almost everywhere in World War II because they are almost like a commando and operate behind enemy line most of the time, and most of them was disbanded after the World War II since they have less requirement for the special force of like a commando or SAS. So most of them were disbanded after World War II. But in the late Cold War, this is an interesting feature of SAS. Late Cold War, they will form SAS again. But this time, SAS is not the special paratrooper. They were the special force. This time is special force, and you'll see them. Well, even right now, nowadays, the SAS troops still operation in Britain. Okay, and also they are sometimes used for counter-terrorist action. And yep, most of the game nowadays about the modern tactic, the modern world, SAS also shown. Okay, example like a Call of Duty 4, the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1. Yep, you show the SAS. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, SAS come out again, and even Rainbow Six. Yep, Rainbow Six Siege also have the SAS troop. So yes, right now SAS still in play, and most of the and most of all, SAS right now someone categorize them as the best special force in the world. So well, this guy, let's just say long history and experience, also the training that no one should mess with them. Okay. Okay, so this is the SAS and commando for the British. Next, let's go to the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union, well, most of the people doesn't think that they have the special unit or what, because well, their army doctrine is different. The army doctrine is quite strange. Let's just go to the detail. The first thing we found when you search for the special unit or elite unit of the Soviet Union, you'll find the Guard unit. Now, sometimes it's referred to the Guard infantry, sometimes it is the Guard rifle, but let's just say they were the closest thing to call the special unit in the World War II. Yes, because well, after the World War II or the collapse of the Soviet Union, there's a lot of another unit as well, example like a Spetsnaz. The Spetsnaz just came out after World War II. In World War II, yeah, there is some sort of thing like Spetsnaz, but it is the intelligent officer, something like that. But now there are the Guard unit. The Guard unit, well, let's just say it is ironic. Soviet Union came and overtake the Imperial Russia, but their army structure doesn't change so much. This is one factor that when the German hit, the Soviet Union just being messed because well their system still be on the Imperial Russia. Well, the guard system. Okay, the guard. It is what the word guard from. It came from the word imperial guard. Yes, seriously, imperial guard. And they just cut the word imperial off and use it as guard. What? What's Soviet trying to do here? Yeah, that's a very mess because well, the the guard title for the unit is mean the more well-equipped unit for the Soviet Union. So in the Eastern Front theater, the guard rifle or the guard mortar, most of the time these units gonna be more well equipped, more well equipped than normal infantry division or something. Yeah, because well the word guard, it is quite like a social status or their role. But most of the time, this group of the infantry still be like a normal infantry, but with better equipment. Yeah, that's what they call guard. And yep, the guard infantry, despite their name, their function should be like a defender of the Russia, right? But no, Russia just moved them like the normal infantry. they just move, they just use the guard rifle, guard mortar, or guard mechanized everywhere in the theater. And most of and one iconic thing for the guard infantry is the Battle of Stalingrad. The Battle of Stalingrad, when when the German hit the Stalingrad first, well, it is the guard idea. Yeah, let's just put it this way: it is the guard idea to hold every corner in the Stalingrad, and it ended up very effective. When German came, they just clear the area and try to reach the Volga River. Once they reach, they find themselves backstabbed. Backstabbed by this group of infantry. They just hide in every corner of the ruin. This guard is very persistent, and surely it is the guard infantry that stationed there. And also the most important action in Stalingrad for the guard infantry is the Pavlov defensive apartment. Well, the General Pavlov of the Guard Infantry just transferred his own apartment into the fortress, and the Germans just get a very hard time taking that place, and in the end they fail to take it. So that's a very close quarter combat, and the Guard just being like a make it stalemate. And when the Soviet main army just arrived, well, German doesn't completely take the town and they were surrounded. So in the end, German have to surrender. General Paulus of the 6th Army have to surrender. Well, so let's just say one effort for the Stalingrad is the Guard infantry. Yeah, they just hold the line very well. And so their service, the Guard service has been used everywhere in the Eastern Front. Well, they are not the special force, but they were like an elite force. And after the Soviet Union has collapsed, the guard system has also been disbanded. So yeah, as you may notice, the guard system is for the Soviet Union, and after Soviet Union is gone, the guard has been disbanded. Well, right now they are not quite a guard. Yet there were some unit was preserved for the Russia Federation. But you cannot call that a guard anymore because well their role is different. They were just a main infantry by now. Yeah, that's the history of the guardsmen. And VDV. Well, the VDV, this is one thing that start to develop during the World War II. Okay, we call VDV, someone call WW2. It is what? That's quite a strange thing, but it is paratrooper. Soviet have paratrooper, really? Well, someone doesn't think much and doesn't believe that Soviet can manage to create the paratrooper, but they did. They really did create the paratrooper, and the main purpose and their concept also like another paratrooper of every nation. But the problem is Russia doesn't have much of the opportunity to use the paratrooper. So most of the time, these paratroopers who were just created have to be on the main offensive. Yeah, that's quite contradict, right? you need to use the paratrooper to drop behind enemy line and hit the back of their line. But for Russia, they doesn't have much of the use for the paratrooper, so they just use them right direct at the enemy like another infantry. Yeah, that's much. And the number of paratrooper in during World War II for Russia doesn't much. So yep, it's just like a small battalion or something like that to fight on the land. Well, this is they create out of hurry. How much hurry? Let's just say they just use the Russian paratrooper uniform is, well, the pilot uniform. Yeah, the eye record for the German also support this. That they say that when they are attacking the airfield, so one day they attack the airfield and the enemy just rushing out of the airfield to fight them. And what they see is very strange. It is the pilot uniform wearing the PPHH and run right at them. So most of the German believe that the one who fight them is the pilot. But what they didn't realize is they are paratrooper. Yeah, this is the really paratrooper, and this footage is real. They were the paratrooper. Yeah, that's quite a contradicting, but it is the real history, so believe it. This is the Russia paratrooper as well. And service, yeah, sometime during the Eastern Front offensive. And worst thing is the VDV group still be VDV group until nowadays. Nowadays, the Russia also using the VDV as well as the infantry force. No, not the infantry force, but this time they use like actually the paratrooper. But problem is the doctrine is changed. Instead of dropping from the plane, they just drop off with the helicopter. Well, since the helicopter has been developed, the thing of the paratrooper has been changed. So they just change from the paradrop from the plane, change into the doctrine of going with the helicopter and drop down with the helicopter. So that is the role of the paratrooper for nowadays. It is very rare case they have to jump off the plane anymore. Okay, and next, okay, this is the Russia special unit. The next is the most contradicting that we have learned and see yesterday. That there is a black guy, very tough, shooting a lot of bullets and he still stand. Well, that guy, the elite unit like that doesn't exist. Bad news is it doesn't exist. But thing is, the group of SS unit is the real thing. Okay, let's come to the German famous unit in World War II. What we have seen here, well, there is a lot of different things in German unit, but I'm gonna cover 3 sections of them. One is SS unit, and one is Fallschirmjäger, and one is Kriegsmarine. Well, Kriegsmarine? Someone who study the history or someone who play a little bit of the history game, you may realize, wait, Kriegsmarine? What? Okay, but I'm gonna explain what later. Okay, the SS units. Well, the SS, many people may question, what is the SS mean? The SS, someone also say, well, SS is from the Sturm Squad. The Sturm Squad, well, or we will call the Assault Squad. Sturm Squad is the Assault Squad in German language. But SS is not Sturm Squad. It's from Schutzstaffel. Okay, it's from the word Schutzstaffel, or the Germans say protective echelon. Well, what is protective echelon? Let's just say the SS units is related to the the political emblem of the Nazi party is the SS. So any company who have the word SS with them, most likely this unit gonna be the political unit. So yeah, according to the political power in the company, this unit gonna be a little bit of well equipped and well trained. So yeah, that is the thing about the SS unit. And most of the time, since they're even in German, they also confuse the word SS from the Schutzstaffel. They also confuse to be the Sturm Squad for some time, and they believe that SS unit is the assault squad. But well, consider of their equipment and their training, yes, they are assault squad. actually is actually is too, because well, do you remember the story of the first assault rifle of the world, the STG-44? Yeah, guess who equipped them? SS. The SS troop also equipped the STG-44 first. The first who equipped this gun. But well, in that time, Hitler just proclaimed that the best automatic weapon for Germany is MP40, well, the submachine gun. Yes, so they don't have, so he has no interest in another weapon. Well, this is the characteristic of the Hitler behavior. If he interested in something, he pour everything at that thing. But another thing, he just ignore. So when it comes to the Sturmgewehr, the STG-44, Hitler just think, well, it is just nonsense. MP40 is better. So, but still, most of his senior officer and even infantry in the army see that STG-44 is revolutionized and useful, more useful than MP40. So they just rename it. Rename it to MP44. So yeah, that's it. MP44. And when it comes to the MP, Hitler say, well, it's MP, another MP. Yeah, let's use it. That's another trick. So sometimes it just equipped in the front line as MP44. But make no mistake, that thing is STG-44. And that's the first assault rifle. And this thing is, that MP44 thing is very, very revolutionized, as they say. Because, well, the one who opposed them has found the problem that they have a rifle. Well, the most of the time they have the Garand, M1 Garand rifle with the 8 bullet in it. But problem is, after they shoot the 8 bullet, they have to reload. But this thing, they shoot like a, well, shoot range of the rifle and the rate of fire of let's just say the rate of fire of submachine gun. This is ugly, right? Something that can shoot fast and shoot the rifle round that damage a lot. This is a really, really interesting thing in the history. So after the German has defeated, the model of Sturmgewehr has been taken by the Soviet Union, but still, German, the ally, the American, also get these detail as well. So they start to develop these kind of thing. So instead of they have to develop rifle, develop the submachine gun, they just develop this thing, and yeah, you got the main weapon for infantry. Yep, safe for the material and effective. So this is the thing that strained for the World War, and it was one of the things that created by the German, revolutionized the world forever. But yeah, most of the time it was equipped by the SS army. Okay, come back to the SS subject. Later in war, SS units start to be short on manpower. Yes, after they take a loss and they have to create a three front. They have to fight on three front. Fight on the Normandy front, fight on the Russian front, and fight on the Italian front. They will start to be short on manpower, so now they just decide to put some reserve unit or militia into their rank. So this is sometime later in the war, SS army composed of sometimes militia as well. And after that, and almost in the end of war, we will see that the SS army start to use the POW, prisoners of war, in their rank. Well, that get desperate, right? And well, I don't want to say the ugly thing, but it is the history that already happened. In the end, when everyone start to knock on the German doorstep, these SS troops recruit even a children and women in their rank. This is very ugly, and inhumane. But this is the history. Well, somebody say the history, well, it has some ugly side as well. But let me say this. The history have the good side and bad side, but if we learn the only one side, you will never learn the complete history, and you will never learn a good thing and bad thing to it. You learn good thing from history to develop yourself, and learn the bad thing from history to avoid that mistake to happen to yourself. That's what I like to tell every student of mine. Okay, so take this notice, and you will see what happened. Okay, and the word SS, as I say, is not limited to the infantry. SS just for politics. So sometimes you will see the SS Panzer or SS, a lot of SS. But so yeah, it is the politics. And for the history, most of SS commit war crime and being tried after war. Yeah, most of. I say most of, not everyone. Someone in the SS army also doesn't commit the war crime as well. So when you talk about the SS, well, many time many people will blame that the SS, every SS is the monster, but let's just say they also the human behind it as well. Some people in the SS army also just simply want to fight for salary. Someone just want to fight for what they believe that they will believe after this war they can go home to their family. Someone also even believe that after the war, if they win, they have more place and better place for the family to live on. Yeah, they just fight for their family. They just doesn't fight for what they believe in the Aryanism or Lebensraum. Not everyone believe in that.
Und hier
Yeah,
ist wieder Ihr Peter Hirschmann am
okay, just
Mikrofon.
believe in.
Traurig aber
Well,
wahr.
just
Die
believing
Alliierten haben
is
mit ihren
different.
unmählichen
Okay,
Bombenangriffen
now let's
unsere
enough for the
gesamte
SS subject. That's
Stadtlandsammlung
quite
zerstört.
messy, right?
Damit ist die einzige
Okay, now
Planung,
let's
die
come
wir
to the
retten
word
konnten,
of
die Aufnahme von
Fallschirmjäger.
Tim Simonek und
Okay,
seinem
the
Kerzenschlittorchester.
Fallschirmjäger.
Einer, der von
Well,
unserem
as you
Führer
may notice, it is the paratrooper, the German paratrooper, and let's just say this guy is the first of the word paratrooper. Well, the Fallschirmjäger is the again German think of the Fallschirmjäger, the paratrooper is the first country who think of the paratrooper is German, and they create the Fallschirmjäger, just an idea of to land some troop behind enemy line and hit their strategic location and assist the main attack. So their purpose drop behind and hit them where it hurt, and then support the blitzkrieg tactic. That is their main objective for the Fallschirmjäger. Well, at the first thing, as they say, land some troop. So they just use the plane, add the troop on it, and land behind it. Well, that is what the German troops do. At first, they just land the plane, but later on they just use the parachute. They use the parachute to just jump off the plane and land by their own, not not by the not by landing the whole plane in it, because well sometimes when you need to land the plane it's not enough space to land, and if you land it wrong your plane crash, everyone die. That's a risky for the paratrooper. Well, and but still if you jump off the plane with your parachute it also be the risky. If the parachute doesn't open, yeah, you're dead. Falling, that means you're falling from, well, almost like a 15,000 feet until the ground. Well, nothing gonna live for that. Nothing gonna survive that. So sure, this is a very risky thing. Well, how risky? You can search in the YouTube and search the Blood on the Riser, the song Blood on the Riser, the song for the American paratrooper. Yeah, that explains the risk of the paratrooper clearly. Yeah, if you want to listen to that thing and find the lyric, you will see that the very risky thing for the German for the paratrooper to be. Yeah, and I mean no kidding. Even by now, you have to, if you want to do the parachuting sport, be careful to check your chute. Yes, be careful to check it. And also check your reserve as well. If you doesn't check it well, yep, you just fall onto the ground and splash like a jam. Something like that. Okay, so let's come back to the Fallschirmjäger. The Fallschirmjäger, after Okay, later in war, these units just remain defensive. What happened to them? It is to happen when it was the D-Day event. So in D-Day event, the American paratrooper got them off guard, and moreover, after the landing force had been success, they have to fight the remnants of Fallschirmjäger everywhere. They try to reorganize and fight them, but still they just fail, and they were scattered all around. So this is the loss for the Fallschirmjäger. So after D-Day, yeah, Fallschirmjäger this was scattered, and the remnant have to join another division. And one interesting thing is before the STG-44, the Fallschirmjäger of Germany have one thing almost close to the word assault rifle. Okay, let's just say it is FG-42 or Fallschirmjäger Gewehr or paratrooper rifle. That is the automatic thing firing the quite big round, and it is contained of almost 20 round, and rate of fire almost fast as the MG42. That was very deadly weapon, and used by the Fallschirmjäger only. That thing is very killing machine, I suppose. And when it but still, the rate of fire, the caliber of the bullet, when you fire, it will just increase very much recoil. So later on, this FG42 has been added with the bipod and using like a light MG. So this is one thing for the Fallschirmjäger, but this is one of the deadly thing that sometimes Allied infantry have to face, and this is dangerous. But after the Fallschirmjäger has been scattered, the idea of MG42, somewhat abandoned. But let's just say it is quite one of the first thing close to call the automatic rifle, the assault rifle, yeah. And their service, no kidding, their service is much. And it is much of the 1939 and 1940, 41, yes. The Norwegian campaign, yes they do. Invasion of Netherlands, yes they do. And invasion of Soviet Union, they joined the part, but not much of the success equal to the Western Front. And the Greece campaign, invasion of Crete, yes, and their last act is on the defense of Normandy. The defense of Normandy seems to be their last act for these Fallschirmjäger guys. But no worry, guys. In the modern world, they still have the Fallschirmjäger, but now it's not much of the very fancy looking like what they do in the World War II. Yeah, this is the Fallschirmjäger. Now come back to the subject of Kriegsmarine. Okay, in this point you might question, everybody have them kind of special infantry. Why not? Why not the German have marine? They have the seaport, right? And yeah, you may come back to the British section and question, wait, why there is no marine? Well, let's just say the British and German have one problem. They just doesn't think much about the landing force because, it is, if you decide to create the marine, you have to use it much more. But for German, if you land on British, do you need much marine? If you create marine, you will use that on the Battle of Britain. And when they finish that, they almost have no use for marine. That's quite considering. Also, the same go for the British. If they do the invasion force, they just have to use it almost one time. And yeah, they are right. After the battle of D-Day, after that they just doesn't need that, almost no need for marine. And for more, when come to the special force, British say, I have a commando already. Why not use the commando? Yeah, so in the end they have not much of the marine. Yep, they have the Royal Marine, but that doesn't show much of the strength in the World War II. And even more the Kriegsmarine. Although the word marine in them, but no, it's not marine. They were just a German Navy. German Navy called Kriegsmarine, but not the marine. And yes, did they think about the marine? Did they think to create a marine? Yes, they always think about creating marine. but well, it never takes shape to be the real Marine. So because well, again, Hitler just had some habit of interest in one thing and abandoned everything. Navy is one thing that Hitler abandoned. He just forget about the creating the carrier, and he just forget about much of the thing. Even the Air Force sometimes been ignored by the Hitler because he was very much favorite on armor division, and so that end up many tank happen, but the Air Force somewhat abandoned and somewhat Navy abandoned. So yeah, idea of Marine has been abandoned as well. Okay, and yes, this idea come out when the German finished the France campaign already and start to aim across the English Channel to hit the Britain. But as I say, the idea never takes shape. Okay, but during the Spanish Civil War, I find that there is a Marine Troop Company. That's a group that infantry, but that's a group that someone may call it Marine, call it the German Marine who come and assist the Spanish Civil War. But let's just look, but it looked like the boarding party. Just use the infantry, board the ship, and send to the Spain. Just that's it. That's it. So well, that's a doubt question. Is it should call Marine? Well, that you might have to decide, right? But surely the Kriegsmarine is just a navy. Don't confuse they were marines. Okay. Okay. Now come to the last nation that wield the power during the World War II, the Japan. Well, Japan, you may question, wait, is that the special force in Japan? Really? Yes. I say yes. Japan also developed the special force. And let's just say, even the Japanese people nowadays doesn't know much about these guys. Well, because it is well, sometimes it's for the this group is from the Imperial Japan and not the modern Japan. That's quite something. Okay, but what I found here is there is two group of special force, the SNLF, Special Naval Landing Force, or in Japanese say Riku Sentai. Yeah, in Riku Sentai. And next group is Teishin Shudan. Okay, Teishin Shudan. This group is what we call the special force of Japan. Okay, let's look at the detail. For SNLF or Special Naval Landing Force, well, this is what we can call the Marine of the Japanese. And kid you not, I kid you not, this group has a real use on the real history. Well, before World War II, Japan doesn't have much of the ideas of marine infantry. They just have the Riku Sentai or boarding party, just one ship and some guy who willing to fight on the ground, send on the small boat, and yeah, there you go, the boarding party. That's the Japan idea of marine at first, but later on, when Japan set their target on the Southeast Asia, they found themselves they have to cross a lot of island, and if you use the boarding party on each ship, it will not be sufficient manpower to take the island. And moreover, if you lose the boarding party during the battle, well, even though you win, you will lose the crew on the ship, and that's gonna be a problem. Who gonna man the gun? Who gonna man the engine? That's quite a problem, right? So the boarding party has been changed, and they start to develop SNLF or Special Naval Landing Force. Okay, so about their service. About the service of this group, they were most likely on the China campaign. Well, in some case, they have to land on the Chinatown and the coastal Chinatown. They have to use the SNLF and offensive of Southeast Asia. Yep, that seems to be very success enough for America to start copying this idea. Their tactic of assaulting from the beach unaware and hit them fast. That tactic is very effective. How effective? It effective enough to make Japanese force able to take Southeast Asia in the matter of days. So this one is just give this guy the credit. He is very pioneer of the Marine. And the last action for them is the Battle of Tarawa Atoll. Okay, this is their last stand. They just hold the Tarawa Atoll at every inch. Well, their courage to hold the island is very commendable, and they were the last stand for the Japanese Marine group. Okay, so this is in the World War II. After the World War II, there were the period of self-defense force, and now the self-defense force also have Marine. Yes. Okay, next is Teishin Shudan. The Teishin Shudan is, let's just call them the Japanese paratrooper in World War II. This guy is, well, developed as a fashion. Let's just, right now you may have a question of fashion. Well, in World War II, everyone start to develop the paratrooper. Why Japan not develop? Yeah, you are wrong. They they actually developed the paratrooper. Well, this paratrooper is very real thing. Well, in late 1930, yeah, they developed this one, but the program doesn't receive much attention for Imperial General Headquarters. That's quite a thing because, well, that group just think of, well, it is it is just a fashion. The Imperial General Headquarters just think this idea of Teishin Shudan is the, well, fashion, just for fashion, like a German paratrooper or something that work effectively at Blitzkrieg. Well, so they doesn't think much about that. But imagine in the alternate history, what if they use it for real? What will gonna happen, huh? If they really use that, did you did you think that they already take Australia by now? Yeah, that's quite a good imagination, right? Well, if they use this, in Australia battle, America and Australia fortify their coast and their coastal town a lot, but they almost forget to fortify the inland. So what happened if these stations shouldn't actually use? They can simply drop on the Australia and wreaking havoc, and also attack the coastal town where they haven't defense, and that's gonna be open for the Japanese landing force very much easier, right? And that's gonna be alternate D-Day for the Japanese. Yeah, imagine if these units has been really used, but well, in history, this guy just most likely being abandoned and being used for the service. Yes, they were really used in the Battle of Palembang on Sumatra Island. Yes, they used in capture of Netherlands East India. Yeah, they used, and even in the Burma campaign, this station Shudan is used. And their last act, their last action is for the raid on Luzon and Leyte Island. After the American already take that island, this group Taishin Sudan decide to do a raid, and yeah, they finally and do some damage. They really destroy a lot of plane and a lot of supply on that island. But after they do that, they just have to do their last stand and all annihilate. They just fight to the last man. Very courage, man. I I salute him. I salute them for that. And after that service, the remaining of Taishin Sudan remaining base in Philippines, but that base doesn't last long. And until the end of the war, this base has been decommissioned and the group of Taishin Sudan has been disbanded. So his, this is the history of the Japanese Special Force. Okay, so that's it for today. Today I have explained a lot about the special force in the major power in World War II. And yeah, now you got the perspective that they were not just sitting duck or do the conventional warfare. In warfare, everything can turn upside down and everyone gonna think a lot outside the box. So as well, this is the lesson for you. The lesson for everyone who watched this video. If you want to get something done, sometimes you may have to think outside the box. Like these nations who were on the World War II think outside the box. Well, sometimes the idea might look silly, But if you start to think outside the box, well, let's just say it's sometimes it's gonna work as well. Okay, so remember to think outside the box. Okay, so and one last thing I want to remind you, every time you play the World War II game or the game that you have to fight against the other nation people, I say please be respect to the soldier who fought for both sides. Again, both sides in World War II. Not only the winning side but also the the losing side as well. They were just human and they will fight for what they believe it is right. That's the soldier duty. So please be more respect to this group of soldiers. Okay. Well, yeah, that's almost cover everything in here. So this is the source where I search everything around, and you may sometimes search additional thing about this, about what I tell you here. Okay, there is a lot of detail and more detail, especially for the German unit. I also haven't covered the unit of Brandenburger. The unit of Brandenburger, well, this is one of the unit that I haven't covered because, well, it can it can and cannot call the special unit. They were sometimes called as a intelligent unit, not a special or elite unit. But in some case, in some accord, they might say, or even some of you might decide that they were the special units. So, well, I just give you the clue. And if you want to know more, you might have to search it by yourself. And remember to share the detail for each other. The more you share, the more perspective you will learn about the history. Okay? Yeah, that's it. I just found a lot of detail about here. I tried to search a lot, and that's it. This is the source where I search it from. Okay, so that's it for the PowerPoint today. Thank you for watching that PowerPoint. Yes, let's return for the okay our program now. Okay, so that's it. Well, good day, sir. This is a this is a thing that I explained about the previous episode of the playthrough. The Okay, it is the game of Medal of Honor Airborne. Well, since I start doing this, since if some of you might start question, wait, is that thing real? Is that black suit people with MG42 hold on their side real? Well, someone start to think, yeah, it might not be real. And this is what I explain you what is real about the history here. Okay, thank you very much to joining our discussion today. And also, I hope to see you guys in the next episode as well. As long as I start doing new the new game playthrough again, I'm gonna give you some detail about that game, and always do. And also, don't forget to subscribe and share the video to the people nearby you. That will help you a lot. And yeah, I hope that everyone, most of the people, many people will join up and discuss a lot. So welcome. So just don't forget to subscribe and share to your friend. Okay. Now this is the end of our presentation, like a presentation, but this is the program, the History Explained program. Okay. Again, stay safe and see you on the next live stream. Okay, goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye, man. Goodbye.